Hello, this is Barry, KU3 X-Ray. I thought I'd talk a little about CW today, and this will relate to portable operating. If you have a KX3 and you use these paddles, you'll find with it laying on the back, the paddles are a little high. And if you fold the feet out, like so, now the paddles are a little too low. So what I did was got a piece of white pine, cut a little notch in it where the feet go, and I put it underneath, like so. I tuck the feet into that notch, like so. And from there, it kind of gives you a better height. So that's one little tip. Excuse me. The other thing is the Elcraft paddles. They were given to me as a gift, which was a good friend of mine. And I had to change the spring and adjust them a little bit. And when I went to use them, every now and then they would skip a beat. You'd be sending, all of a sudden they'd skip a character, and that drove me nuts. I took them all apart. I got some Scotch-Brite. I cleaned all the contacts, put it together, and I had the same thing happen. A friend of mine has a KX3 with the same setup. He had the exact same thing happen. So, after watching a YouTube video, I found what they call our mini palm paddles. And that will replace these. So what I'm going to do is take a break, and I'm going to put them on. You'll see this connector is going to go in here where these connect, so there's no wires going all over the place. So if you give me a minute, I'll change them and I'll be right back. Well, we're back. Now we installed the Palm Pico paddles. What's nice about these is you can tuck them in and push them in, and they're protected. So if you put them in your carry case, you don't have to take them off. Just push it back out, pull them a little bit, tilt them out, and it's a nice firm connection here, so even if you're heavy on the paddles, you won't be bouncing them all over the place. As you see, I took the little block of wood out from underneath because I don't need it, and now to use these paddles, they have a very good feel to them. They are adjustable. You can adjust the tension, and you can adjust the gap, and a teeny tiny wrench comes with it. It actually snaps on the bottom of the normal base. This base is optional. You get the Pico paddles with a cable, so you can use them on almost anything you want, and then you have to buy the optional base for the KX3. But as you can see, they're very, very good paddles. I'm on a dummy load, by the way, plus the power is turned down to 0. But I wanted to show you how well those little Pico paddles work, and they're just great paddles. I used other paddles I'm going to show you shortly, and I dropped them on and I broke the paddle onto the actual plastic paddle. And when a friend of mine went to Dayton, he brought back a set of Begali Traveler Light paddles, magnetic Traveler Light, and that's what these are, fully adjustable. And what I like is this folds in, so they're protected. When you put them in your case, you won't break them. Just fold those babies out. They're plugged into the side. And they work great. They're protected with a little plastic cover here from dust. They're a little expensive, not for everybody. But again, they are fully adjustable. And it actually comes with a feeler gauge to set up the gap on the contacts. But it's all on what your feel is. Some people like a very sloppy feel, heavy springs, light springs. I have it set up the way they suggested from the manufacturer. I used the feeler gauge and I set the tension up to my liking, and I really, really like them. They work well. So the benchers also work pretty good. I used to use those, and I still use them in a primary station. I also use these in a primary station. As you can see, these have the memory buttons on top, but we won't get into that. That's for the 480. But for the other primary station radio, I'll either use the Begali or I'll use the benchers. Both are pretty good. So just wanted to show you those keys. Now I'm going to shift gears again. And what I found out is because this has a... Oh, I forgot. You can get from the Palm people... This is aluminum, but you can change this plate, and they have a metal plate. So you can't tell the difference when you look at it. Same color, it's matched. And the Palm paddles, I'm going to take them off for now to show you. The Palm paddles have a magnetic base that snaps on the bottom or the side. And this wire comes off. That comes off. There we go. That guy comes off. and you get another cable to go around and plug in the side. Now this is like 2.3 millimeters or something. It's very, very small, so it's not a standard stereo jack, but he gives you a cable to go with it, and even All Electronics makes an adapter to go from this to the standard stereo headset like you have, and you can have a cable go anywhere you want. Whether you want it to that, why you'd want to do it, I don't know. But they make a magnetic base and they'll slap on the side, and when it does, you can operate this way. And I want this type of setup here, whether to here or here, because when I go portable, this radio is self-contained. All I do is sit in a chair, throw antenna up, put a coax on, sit in a chair, pencil and paper to my side, and I like to work. So this was the idea behind getting these paddles. So now I'm going to shift gears again, and I'm going to change radios because I found out that the other radio I have, they'll work well with that also. So I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Now we have a little Ten-Tec U-Kit 40 meter, 20 meter QRP radio. Now these are the paddles I talked about before, and I dropped them and I broke one of these off. These are Vibraplex Junior Warrior paddles, and they're great little paddles. They're a little sloppy when you get them. You have to take them apart, make your adjustments, put them together, and they're really, really good paddles. There's nothing wrong with them. But for portable, I wanted something a little bit more rugged. That's one of the reasons I went with the Begalis with these protectors on the side so I wouldn't drop them and break them. And then the Pico paddles, when I found out they worked on the KX3, I didn't realize that the case on the little U-kits, they're metal. They're not aluminum. I guess they're steel. So they fit on, and this is the magnetic. Here's the magnetic. So that goes right on the side, and they work just great. So there's how they work. So there's other rigs you can use them on, but when I set up portable, I want everything self-contained and everything is small. Here's a little tidbit on batteries for the U-kits. Now the newer ones, they're starting to supply them with their own battery, which is great. But if you get an older model like this, you could put AA nickel metal hydrides in. Well, with the nickel metal hydrides, there's 8 of them in there. You don't get the full 12 to 13 volts. 8, 9, about 10 or 11 volts. I think it's about 10 volts. You do the math. 1.2 times 8. What is that? 9.6. So what I found were rechargeable. These are nickel zinc batteries, and I found them on Amazon. Now they're rated 2,500 milliwatt hours, and I reversed the math, and it comes out to about 1.5, 1.6 amp, which is not too bad. Fully charged. The advantage of these is when you charge them, they're 1.6 volts. So you get your, right now, you probably can't read it, but that says 13.6 volts on here. Now these batteries were used a little bit, but when fully charged, they'll come out to around 14 volts. Now by putting 14 volts into this thing, now you can get the rated output power of 5 watts. When you use them nickel metal hydride batteries, with the lower voltage, you only get about 2 to 2.5 watts out. So that's the reason I went with these. Another battery you can use is LiPo batteries. I have a really small LiPo battery that works well with this one, but it's external. I can put it inside if I take the battery packs out, and I may do that down the road. I haven't decided yet. But there's some nice little information for you on CW paddles, and if you have one of these babies, they're a lot of fun. These are the batteries you want to use. So for now, 73 KU3X.